Hello everyone, thank you for attending the SunBrite Solar Series installation video. This will be a 48 watt. We do have an 80 watt as well, but everything's the same with the exception of the panel. So in the box will come the fixture, your rotator bracket, and then the tilt bracket that will actually go on the panel. This cradle bracket is actually installed on the panel already, right out of the box, so you won't have to deal with that. It'll also come with a handheld remote for programming, and we'll get to that here once we have it installed on top of the pole. All the hardware comes with it, so you don't have to look for anything there. You will need a 4mm and a 6mm Allen wrench to help with the installation. So once everything's out of the box, you want to put your rotator on first. I do not tighten these down. It'll be 3 bolts going in the top. I leave them loose, so if I need to rotate the panel, which most of the times you'll need to make sure it is facing directly south, that gives you that advantage of not having to fight it while you're up, say 15 or 20 feet up in the air with the pole. We'll have everything installed here on the ground because I found out it's a whole lot easier doing by yourself, putting it together here, and you don't have to fight that panel while you're up in either a man lift or a boom truck. So again, I'll snug these. I just won't tighten them. That'll allow me to rotate the panel once I get it on top of the pole. So once this is on, I'll lay this over, and you do have keys that will go in the fixture itself. So once you put it on the pole, you can actually tighten it down and it won't go anywhere. So there's 6 of them, and I always like to at least get them started here. So again, I don't have to deal with it up in the air. There's 2 in the back, there's 2 on each side. So I will get these stuck in here, and these will actually be the only ones that use a 4mm Allen wrench. Everything else uses the 6. So once these are put in, I will lay this fixture down so it doesn't fall down. And one note, when you lay this panel down, do not lay it on the concrete or the asphalt. You want to lay it on a soft material or a plastic, because this is a glass underneath with the panel and you don't want it to break or get scratched. So once it's laying down, you'll take your tilt bracket and you'll stick it on here. It'll take 4 bolts. Everything is pre-threaded, so you won't have to deal with nuts or anything on the back. The only thing you'll have a nut for is actually the 2 bolts that lock it into the position that you have it on top of the fixture. These particular ones you will want to snug in once you have them on. And this again will take the 6mm Allen wrench. Once they're snug, then we'll actually put the fixture and the panel together right here. Because again, by yourself it's a whole lot easier to deal with them as a unit instead of trying to get the fixture set on top. So, whoops, before I do that, getting ahead of myself, the 2 long bolts, you'll take your nut and your washers and your lock washers off. Just take one for now. You'll have 2 holes in the fixture. This will be basically your pivotal position, goes here in the center. This will be a lock position that actually locks the panel in the correct degree. About 30 to 40 degrees is where you want it as far as your tilt, and always facing south because that is your optimum charge. And once this gets all the way through, and again, there we go. I like to put the lock washer and the regular washer on just for safety reasons to make sure it does not go anywhere. So once that's on, as far as the safety wise, it's not going to go anywhere. You take your other one, everything off, just take the nut, and you pretty much position where you're going to think 45 degrees is going to be. So for this particular case, to be right about here, you'll push your bolt all the way through. Now you can see it's locked in place. You just take the washer and your lock washer, stick it on the other side. I won't tighten these here, but before you put it up, you definitely want to tighten it up on the fixture. So this is all together, and you can see it still rotates. So that's what we'll correct up once we get it on the pole. So once you get it on everything put together, you'll take this and just set it right up on the pole. And again, 2 3/8 or less. This particular pipe is 2 inches. So you will take your 4mm I like to start with the bottoms and just get it snug and make sure you get it even. And these have to be tight because this is actually what's holding everything on your fixture to your pole itself. And there's 2 on each side, bottom and top, for a total of 6. And you'll get these positioned in where they're nice and tight. And once they're tight, then you will go into positioning your panel, making your connections, and then programming. Last one right here. All right, and you can see it's locked in and it's not going to go anywhere. So you want your panel facing south. Say this isn't south. Since this is not tight, it gives you that ability to rotate it. So, whoops. So you rotate your panel whichever direction it needs to be. Take your 6mm. There is 3 up here for this video. I'm just going to tighten the 1. But you'll have this one here, and then 1 in the very back. After you've got everything tightened, your cord coming out of your fixture, go into your cord in your panel, and you'll see a little key in there that you have to match up. Push those together. Now, make sure after you push them together, you're actually threading those tight. If you don't thread it, over time they're going to lose connection and your fixture is not going to work. So you have your panel connected to your fixture, everything is tight. Now's when it comes into your remote. So every fixture will come with a magnet. That is actually our motion sensor, but it's also an on-off switch. So you want to pull that off. If you don't pull that off, the fixture will never work. While you're standing here, you'll see a red and a blue light flashing back in the back. That's just saying you have an active fixture. Then you take your remote. So your remote has several options. You can stay on for 15 hours solid. You can stay on solid for 4 hours, and then 8 hours. It'll only be about 70%. You can stay on all night with motion, or you can stay 4 hours full, and then after that it becomes motion. You have different programs you can choose from. Once your light is on, you've got your blinking lights, you just pick what you want. When you push it, your fixture is live. This particular one is going wide open. I can turn it off. I can choose different settings. And then you can also, this remote reaches about 75 feet. So you do not need a remote for every fixture. You can program every fixture within 75 feet with the same remote. The other thing to make sure to be aware of, the dusk to dawn sensors are actually built into the crystals of the solar panel. So if it's any light whatsoever, once the sun goes down, probably about 35 minutes after that is when your panel will engage. Your light will come on. When the sun starts to come up, of course, it's going to go off. In this particular situation, I can turn the fixture on. And because we are inside a room with light, you will see that fixture will eventually turn off because it's going to engage the actual light. So, all right. This particular section here is also your motion. Picks up about 75 feet in each direction all the way around. So that is pretty much sums up the 48 watt SunBrite. Again, the 80 watt is exactly the same. It is a larger panel. Fixture looks entirely, you can't tell them the difference just besides the chips. So we look forward to seeing everyone on the next video very soon. Have a great day. Thank you for your time.